is the day we get to put the wood floor in. I'm so excited. These fleas are gone finally. Praise the Lord. It's been a long road. We've got our tools. We've got our wood floor in the house now. It's been acclimating for 3 days. You always want to do a minimum of 3 days to have the wood acclimatize in the house, adjust to the humidity level in your house, have the air conditioning set to where it's going to be set. That way it'll be less warping and cupping, and it should be good. You know, we had this wood stored outside because we just couldn't bring it in with the fleas. We jumped the gun when we bought it, but that's okay. We're excited to get started. We're going to show you how to put this wood floor in today. So the first thing you want to do when you are putting wood flooring down on a wood subfloor is you're going to want to do some prep. You know, you're going to want to get up, like in our case, they had carpet before and the padding was glued down. So you see, I still need to vacuum most of this up or sweep most of this up, but a lot of the padding sticks to the glue lines that they put down. You don't want any serious bumps in your floor. Now, yeah, the wood flooring is fairly thick and it'll push down some, but just to give yourself the best results possible, the best prep, just take the time and do the proper prep work. It'll, you know, save you any headaches in the future. What you want to do after you clean the floor up really nicely, look out for any nails, you know, get those up. You're going to want to put down a protective barrier, a vapor barrier, something that's not going to hold moisture against the floor or against the subfloor, something that breathes a little bit but is reduces that moisture flow greatly. Now this is a good product that I heard about. I was actually looking for another product, but then I came across this. This is by Roberts. This is a silicone vapor shield, and there's silicone impregnated in this paper. And they had it. There was another product. Now I can't even remember the manufacturer of the product, but it had a layer of asphalt in between two paper layers. And this one was highly recommended for flooring and stapling down a floor on a subfloor because of that silicone. It really kind of seals back up around those staples and around those nails that are going through. So we're going to put this down, and we're going to overlap this 4 inches on each row. Hey everyone, we're putting in this wood floor. I got my good buddy Pete with me, and I want to introduce him because he's got a great channel. His channel is just Pete B. Yep. And he's got so much good stuff on there. He's a very precise individual. He used to be a machinist, and so the work that he does is very, very good. And he's got he's got an amazing video on how to gel stain cabinets. You got to see this. It's very thorough, and if you ever wanted to know anything about refinishing your cabinets, he's definitely the guy to go to. He definitely has more knowledge than that. That's an awesome video he's got on there. So Pete is gonna give me a hand here on the floor. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get started now.
Yeah. All right. So the best possible thing for us to do is start in this back bedroom here, and Pete's starting by rolling out the vapor barrier, tacking it down with some staples. And I'm here in the closet, just taking off this shoe molding off the bottom. I think we're just going to run the, I'm not going to bother with taking up the linoleum here. It's very, very thin, and we're just going to run our wood right up over top of it. And as Pete rightly pointed out, that'll act as a moisture barrier as well. All right, everybody, we've got our underlayment down, and two things that are really important here. We're starting from our outside wall, but we want to make sure this outside wall is parallel with our interior walls, because that's going to determine whether the flooring is nice and parallel with this interior wall. It's a little difficult in some spots, and we're going to do our best here, but what we're going to do is we're going to measure from this outside wall into this inside wall and determine if this wall here is parallel, and then we're going to snap a chalk line. So this wall is really our driver. This is our starting wall, but this is our driver to keep things parallel in the rest of the house. So if this wall is, say, 1/2 inch out on that side, we're going to snap our chalk line in 1/2 inch on this side and then put our boards on that chalk line. That's how we're going to start that. Alright, so we've determined that the room, the two walls are fairly parallel, which is fantastic. We're going to start on this wall and we're going to come out about 1/4 inch. When you're nailing down wood, unlike when I did my floating floor, you need at least 1/2 inch gap there because the wood expands and contracts a lot, and the floating floor will move around since it's not nailed down or glued down to any sort of subfloor or your slab in a concrete slab house. This one is going to be nailed at numerous places, so it's not going to move that much against the wall. So you only need a small, maybe 1/4 inch between that molding, or the wall actually, and the first board. Alright, as you can see, when you start your first board, you run into a little bit of an issue, and you need to get around this. So if you have this first board against the wall, you're going to staple on the tongue side, but your stapler isn't going to fit against the wall and won't come close to hitting that first tongue. So on your first board, as you're laying it against the exterior wall here, you're going to need to use another nailer and nail it down. You can nail it by hand. You can use the tools that you have. I have this little brad nailer that should hold it in place. I've got 1.5 inch brads in here. I think they are 18 gauge. So that should hold it properly. We're going to nail it every 6 inches. And then when you get this first board in place and your second board is butt up to it, you can see that you're going to have plenty of room to clear the staple, where the staples feed down into the thing here, or the stapler, and plenty of room to stand up and hit the activator button here. So that's the way you need to start.
I just want to add also, if the first board you're going to hand nail it, it'd be a good idea to first pre-drill your holes so you don't split the wood.
That's a really great point, Pete. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, this, especially with this pine, it's fairly soft and brittle. This is all we could afford at the time. Even the harder woods, your walnuts, that is really a great idea to do that as well. Just so you're not messing around.
Yep.
You know, you get that first board perfect.
Yeah.
So we're going to snap a chalk line just to keep everything on track here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the board, you know, where we want it, the distance we want it away from that trim, which I said is about 1/4 inch. And we're going to snap the line out at the edge. We're going to measure out and snap it at the edge of the tongue of the first board. So we're looking at 5 5/8.
All right.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Perfect. All right, everyone, we want to snug up our board here. Now these tongues are pretty loose. You might need a block here that's going to not damage your tongue, so you can pound the block and it'll draw in the tongue groove on this side. But these are fairly loose. I put a lot of them to kind of dry fit them together, and I don't see an issue with that. If there is, we'll rip one on the table saw. We're going to use our brand new Bostitch stapler here. Now, I want to make sure, do your research and get the right staples for this, because it seems that the big box stores are selling only ones for really tiny little staplers, and it's very difficult to find the contractor grade ones. We had to go to several stores to try and find it. But let's try this baby out. Right where I want it. Yeah, works good. First one's in there. All right, this is important, guys. If you want to make your floor look nice, you know, we went the inexpensive route, and we bought all 6-foot long pine flooring, butt jointed ends, which is cheaper than having a tongue and groove end on it, and it works fine with the nail down or the staple down method. But as you can see, we have a joint right here. And this piece overlaps it by, I'd say, roughly about 10 inches, which is really good. When the floor will start to look funny if you are any less than about 8 inches. It's just not going to look right. The joints are going to be too close together. You're not going to get a nice stagger in the floor. But what we've done is we've cut a decent amount of the boards in half and in thirds, so we can play with the pieces. Everyone, we're back working on our floor here, and you can see we're getting close to this wall. I think I mentioned before, it's not going to be possible for us to really use this flooring stapler anymore. I think I'm in its limits without smashing the hammer into the wall. So what we're going to do is, as we get closer to this wall here, we're going to use our brad nailer. And we are going to also be using this additional tool here, which is going to help a lot. This is a floor jack, and I want to mention that you can find these online on Amazon, and they are a ridiculous amount of money. They're a silly amount of money. Some people want to charge you $160, $200 for them, and that's outrageous in my mind, because it's a simple mechanical device. Honestly, the cheapest one I did find was $45, but shipping was, I think, $15 or so, and so $60 for this. I still wasn't convinced. My buddy Pete mentioned to me that, oh hey, look what I found at Lumber Liquidators. Lumber Liquidators had this for $25. I think that's a fantastic price, and I was happy to pay that. So what this is going to be used for is, when we get close to the wall here, it's going to be difficult to pull these boards in and pull them in straight with one another. So what this does is it ratchets out against the wall. As you can see, maybe I'm a little too far away here, but it will push your boards in for you. This will push against the wall here and push against your board here and draw them together, so you don't have any gaps and you can immediately nail it. It's a really, really handy item. In fact, it's a must-have item for doing this floor. You really need to have this. So we're going to get started. Alright everyone, when you get to a door jamb like this, now obviously we had some different type of flooring in the house before. This is the old linoleum in the closet here, and we had some carpet outside here in the room. On our door jamb here, the stop is coming all the way to the floor. We need to clear that so we don't have to make some funny cut. We need to get underneath that molding. So what we're going to do is take a piece of scrap flooring, and you can use really any type of saw that's going to work for you. I personally choose a Japanese handsaw. These are precise and work pretty well. So let's take this portion off right here. Easy as that. Now our flooring will come right underneath. Alright, so it was a snug fit, but as soon as we were able to get it properly down the groove over the tongue, and with a tiny bit of persuasion, it pushed down to come past our trim here. That's good. So what we're going to do is use our floor jack, drop it down in the hole here, and then just we're going to pull it tightly together. And we're going to have to face down this part of the board here. We're going to use our staple gun here in the doorway, right here. Alright, so what we've got here is our old flooring, and we're not going to rip this out because right now we just can't afford to replace the entire house with the new flooring. So we left the kitchen. This stretches from the dining room, kitchen, into the laundry room, and obviously there's a thickness difference between our two floors here. And best solution that we came up with without having a transition strip, which I really don't want in this house. I want a smooth flow between the two floors. I don't want to be tripping over a transition strip. I've had them in other houses. Yeah, the low profile ones are fine, but I just don't want it here, especially in this big span. It's probably 10 foot wide right here in this space. So what we did was we went to our table saw, and we chamfered our blade to about 4 degrees, and then we just took off this edge, and probably, we pulled the blade up about 1.5 inches to give a nice smooth chamfer to this, nice smooth transition, and this works beautifully. We didn't have that much of a height difference, but you can see we are dead on right here, and you can really not tell the difference between the height in the two floors. It's going to be a nice transition and very seamless, which is really what I wanted. Hey everyone, back working on our floor, and I wanted to show you another really great tip if you're going to do it yourself, especially with this unfinished pine. This pine bends and warps like crazy, It's not a high quality product, like I said. In the end, it's going to give you a really cool distressed look because it's very soft. And you'll have to maintain it maybe, well, not maybe, but definitely more than some other woods. But I want to show you a trick here, which is really, really important with this jack. So we've got a board here that is in the center of the room, and it could be a factor of these boards not being perfectly aligned. It could be a factor of this board being a little bit warped, but it doesn't perfectly fit in the tongue of the other board. So we can utilize our jack again. What I've got here is just a regular 2x4, and I'm just going to screw that through down into the subflooring. And what that's going to allow me to do is jack this out against this brace and pull this board in, because I cannot do this by hand. There's no leverage for me to be able to do that. The nail gun's not going to push that in. So you're going to need a board like this and just screw it straight down into the subfloor. Use your jack, pull it in, and then you can nail it. Obviously, this is going to have to be out far enough where you can fit your nail gun in here. So this is going to probably have to be out at least another board length, if not more, to be able to accommodate the foot of the staple gun. But that's going to give you the leverage you need to pull these boards together that just don't fit perfectly together. And I hope that helps. I wanted to take everyone on a quick tour of what we've accomplished so far. We've come into the master bedroom here. Now this is an interesting area here because we are now working backwards, and we cannot use our nail gun to staple these, because the nail guns staple on the tongue, or the floor style stapler nail gun. So what we have to do is we have to face nail these, and what I'm doing is face nailing these through the tongue, through the groove in the tongue when I put them together here. So you can see each board on the left side is nailed through, and that's where the tongue and groove are. And it holds really well. I put the little brad nails closer together, obviously, than the large staples and the tongue. But let's move through here. You know, we've got our nice transition between the kitchen, existing kitchen flooring, and our new pine hardwood here. We kind of ran out of the moisture barrier paper, and we've got to go get some more of that. And you can see we're out. We've got the 2 bedrooms back here complete. Well, 99% complete. I need to do one strip along the wall here and rip those boards, and then actually we need to do the closet in this room. But as you can see, it's coming along, and we appreciate you watching. We're going to take you along for the journey when we do the sanding of this floor and show you how to do that, and then we're also going to help show you how to do the painting, the whitewash that we're going to do on this floor that we think will be incredibly beautiful. And I think that's really going to make the wood grain come out, which is what I want. I don't like covering up wood at all. I usually like to oil it. I don't even like to stain it, because it gives it I guess you could say, unnatural look, although, you know, paint kind of does that as well. But I do kind of like the way paint looks a little bit better on wood than stain does. So we'll take you along for that journey. We hope you liked it. Leave us any comments in the comment section below, if you like this video, please give us the thumbs up. That really helps us out. And subscribe to our channel, and we'll continue to put out these videos. Appreciate it. Have a great day. You know, I just wanted to highlight one thing here, which is kind of disconcerting. Our house is in the middle of the country, all right? And we don't live in it yet. So when you come over here and you find your window popped out and the screen ripped off, and your pruning shears on your freezer in your house, you know somebody's been in your house. And we had the police over here. They took a report. Somebody did break into our house, but I want to give a praise report because I've got a lot of expensive tools sitting here to do this construction, this flooring, and they didn't take a thing. So big praise to God for that, because nothing's missing. And they were physically in this house, and you know, it's a little scary. My wife's a little scared, but we were protected, and we're thankful for that. So for all my friends and family watching and all of my subscribers, I appreciate it. And you know, I want to take you along for the journey, the country living experience. Well, this is not normal for the country. We think this house, at least the police do, was being cased for a while because we haven't occupied it and the previous homeowners moved out almost 3 months ago now, something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's three months. Man, I'm losing track. We haven't been here in a while, except to work. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day.